Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this session today we are going to see how we can handle multiple pop-ups or multiple browser windows in webdriverIO. So if you would have seen, there are certain instances where while you are executing or you are automating something, you might want to do certain other options into a new browser window, or let's say that you are clicking on any link or anything and that pops up multiple browser windows, or let's say that the link opens into a new window. Okay, so at that moment how will you handle it, because your browser is now handling the new window. In a sense, think about this one. So if I'm clicking on this button, you see that there is a new tab opened, and then this is altogether, it could be a new browser application, or it could be the same application content, but it is opening that functionality into a new window actually, or a new tab. There could be certain instances where you can see that you click on any link or button, you see that there are two new pop-ups are coming. Okay, we call it as a pop-up or we call it as a browser windows. Okay, mostly sometimes it would be different advertisements that it might open, or let's say that you are clicking on a chat window and it opens into a a kind of a resized window where you can specifically chat with someone which is very much isolated from your actual application content. And this is basically to reduce your interference of the application behavior. They give like that. Okay, so these are the different ways. But then when these kind of situations happens, how do we handle it using webdriverIO? So that is what we are going to see that. Okay, so for this, let me just create a new test, and for this I will be copy pasting as usual and do the necessary changes. Okay, so this is the basic test template that I have created now. Now let's do one thing. So I want to create a new tab actually, and there I want to run or like load a different URL. So one option is that if I click on this link, as you would have seen, there is a new browser window opened. But in webdriverIO, there is an option where you can explicitly open a new browser window and you can load a different URL as well. Okay, so that is what we are going to see first. Now for this, what we can do, we can say await browser dot new window, and you can see there is a new window which accepts a parameter, and you can see the parameter name is a URL or a string, and after that I can give certain window name and the window features. Now this window features could be like the size, the width and all those things, or the position and all those things I can specify there actually. So I'll show you the documentation as well. Like if you go to the webdriverIO documentation, and if you say here new window, and you see that here you can provide a window name and certain window features. Now if you see the features, you can have couple of options, like as I told, size, position, scroll bar, whether there is a scroll bar option is there or not there. And one basic example is here, you can see that window feature, and you can give the height, width and all those things. And this is very fair, simple one. But at this moment our intention is to create a different URL, right? So what am I going to do? I'll give a different URL. Okay, now after that I will just wait for 2 seconds and then close my window. Okay, let's quickly run this and see whether this works fine or not. This should be HTTPS. Okay, so npm run wdio. Oops, sorry, the spelling was wrong. So npm run wdio. Okay, so this is the parent window, and you can see there is a new window open, and then it loaded that URL and then it closed it. So that is very simple one, right? Now let's say that if there is a new window is opening, Now your browser control goes to this particular window. Now if I do a console log here, if I do a console log and I will say await browser dot get title or something, then it gives me the title of that particular new window. Now let's say that you are performing certain actions into that new window. How will you now return to your new your current window, like the parent window? So you need to do some kind of actions. Either you need to close your what you call the new window which you created. So it means that you are loading the URL into a new window, perform certain operation whatever you want, then you need to say browser.close, so it will close your current window. Now in this case, what we are going to do, what if you want to keep that browser window as it is, but then you want to move, or like you want to switch back from your parent window to a different window. Now in this case we have only two windows, parent and then the new window. But then think about if I have multiple windows like 3 to 4, you cannot keep on closing every one, right? You have to switch back actually from one to another, perform your action, verify, and then come back to your parent window. So that is what we are going to see. So now think about this. Now I have turned back to my new window and here I performed certain options. After that I want to move back to my parent window. So for this, the webdriverIO given us a method that is called as a get window handle. So I'll show you that. So await browser dot get window handles, get window handle actually. So I'll tell you what the other method does that. Now this method basically returns you a string. It means that I need to keep it inside a string. Let's say that parent and I will say window equal to. Now see, this one I shouldn't be keeping after I'm taking a new window. I have to keep it before to this actually. Now what will happen when my browser is onto this particular the actual browser application URL, I will be capturing that so that any other windows it is appearing, I have an option where I can say wherever the browser window is currently active, I can switch back to my browser or the parent window whenever I need. So for this, now let's say that I want to switch back to my parent window. So what can I do here? So I'll say await browser dot, there is some option, an option called as switch to window. Okay, so switch to window is a method which accepts an handle actually, and this handle is nothing but the string which returned me by using the get window handle. So when I'm saying await browser dot switch to window, in this case now it should return me the parent window. Now if I call this browser dot get title, I should get my parent window. Let me show you that. So here I'll say switching back to parent window, and this time it should give me the proper URL actually, or the title. Okay, now let's run this real quick and see. And you can see it switched back as well. Now you see that when it made a new window, the URL or the get title is home-QA validation. When it switched back to your parent window, at that time the title was browser windows. That's how you can switch back. Now after switching back, you can do anything on your parent window. Like this you can do that. Okay, fine. So that is the way actually we need to do. There is one method actually, another method that is available. I'll show you that as well. Browser dot, so the above one was switch to window, right? There is another method, you can see switch window only. Now when I see the documentation, it is asking either you can provide a string is nothing but the window handle, or you can even provide a regular expression or a matcher. In this sense, what it is telling, let's say that for some reason you could not able to capture the window handle ID. In that case, what you can do, you can even give a full name of your title, or you can give a string match of your title as well. I'll show you the documentation. Now if you go to the switch window, okay, and you go to the switch window, you can see the matcher. Now what it is telling, it is a string or a regular expression that matches the title and the URL or the window name. So window name is something where I told to you, right, when we are creating this new window, we have an option where we can give the window name. So that window name, you can give it into the switch window, or let's say that you didn't open it explicitly, this new window, it might have appeared by clicking any of your application button. At that time you don't have option, right, to give the window name. So in that case you can give the title, any of the title, like let's say that here you can say that browser.switchWindow, and then inside the parameter you can give practice test automation. Now what this will do, the webdriverIO, it will compare into this multiple browser window title. Whichever the title is matching, it will just switch your browser context into that particular window. Simple, very simple. Let's say that you want to switch to a particular URL. Here actually you see that 3 different URLs are there. You can even specify which URL I need to switch. So that is what the flexibility your switch window provides. So here you can give the matcher of title, URL, or the window name. Window name, you can switch any one of this. Let's say that I don't want to give this a handle name. Instead of, if you see that this is browser windows, right, and you see in all of these two, in these 2 windows there is a browser that is unique to this particular window only. So I'm giving here as browser. So now what the WebDriver will do, whenever it is launching this new browser window, it will compare which title is browser matching, it will switch to that. You can give it a try. Okay, so like that you can do this one. Now this is very simple when you have only 2 windows, right? Like you have loaded your actual base URL, this one. After that, during your test execution, you wanted to create a new window. So you can write this logic, perform certain operation, whatever you want to do, any kind of verification. Then you can switch back to your normal browser or the parent browser, and you can continue the other test steps as well. Very simple. Now let's say that I have, when I'm clicking on this particular button, right, let's say I have this kind of window. It means that now I have 3 windows, the main base URL window, second one, third one. Let's say that I'm in this window. After that, these 2 windows open. Then I want to perform certain action onto this particular URL, finish it, then switch back to my first window. How will you do that? That is what we are going to see. Okay, so in this case, I will be commenting actually from here till here actually. Okay, so I'm not going to use any kind of new window method here. I will be clicking on this particular button actually. Let me close all these things and let's inspect this one. And you can see the name multiple actually here. So what can I do here? I'll say await browser dot, or else I can do directly like this $, and I will give here a CSS selector name equal to, I'll say multiple, okay, dot click. When I'm doing this click, what will happen? It pops up 2 more browser windows, and if I'm clicking manually like this, so total of 3 browser windows opened. So in this case, how can I do get window handle? Then this will give me the current browser window where exactly the browser is active, which is not correct, right? Because how can I get multiple window IDs actually in that case? One option is that, let's say that somebody is telling that, okay, perform certain action into this particular window, and here you can see it is a QAB box demo, right? So I can do one option, await browser dot browser dot switch window. I'll say switch window, not switch to window, switch window. And here I will be telling QAB box. So I will make it as QAB box and I will say demo D is, I don't know if it is case sensitive or not. After this, let's say that I want to count all of my these links. Actually here you can see multiple links are there. Now let's say that I want to get all the links present into this particular window. Now I'm inspecting this and this came into this particular window, and let's say that I'm going to this and I will put just A. You can see total 12 elements are coming here. So can I say like this, I want to verify something on this particular window because we are using for testing, right? So I'll say await and I will say $$ and I will say A dot length to be sorry, this should be okay. I don't want to console log, actually better I will make it as expect dot to be, I'll say 12. The length has to be 12. Or let's say that you are clicking on this particular button and you can fill this form, you can do some verification, whatever you want to do depending on your requirement. At this moment I'm just switching back to one of the window when it is open multiple windows. Then I'm just verifying that there should be 12 links. In the sense, when I'm expecting this, if my expect statement is correct, it means that I switch to a correct window. Let's see that. So I'm going to this and running this. You can see the expect statement got passed, because if my expect statement would be wrong, then I should have got some error actually here. It means that it switched to the correct window. After that it went like this. Now let's say that you have multiple windows and you don't want to just switch window like this, and this is the easiest way that I understood actually, because you always know actually what kind of the browser title it has to give, because that is what you would have manually tested, and you have to test it into the automation wise. You should have prepared your test steps, right? That if this will happen, then the action should be happening like this. That's how you can switch back. But if you see most of other other automation tools where you don't have this particular method actually, see the main backend concept of this, what exactly happens, you know, the classic concept. If you would have been into the Selenium or Protractor, you should have seen that for this particular line of code we are doing lot of logic actually onto the backend. I'll show you that. Let's say that you want to understand actually how this switch window is happening. I'll quickly showcase that one. And the webdriverIO give that as an option. For some reason, if your application is not switching to by using this title, then I will show you another way actually, by using the get window handles. Let's say that I'm not going to do this way. I want to do the classic way. For this, what I'm going to do, the first thing is that I need to create a variable. Okay, let's say that let windows equal to await browser dot get window handles. You can see there is another method. Now what this method does, this will give me a string array. You can see the return type as a string array. Fine. So here what I'm going to do, after getting this particular handles right, I will be looping it. So I'll do a for loop and I will say let window, the individual window of what, of windows, the collection which I received. After this I will be saying that I will be now switching to each of the browser window. So I will say that await browser dot switch to window. Now this case I'm using the classic or the old method actually. Here what I'm going to do, I'll say window. Once I'm switching to that window, then I will be comparing actually that one, because I don't know actually, because see these are all windows, all these things are some strings actually. I don't know if when I switch to this, is it my QAB box demo application? Because when I'm switching here, right, these three windows which you got it, I don't know whether you're switching to this one or this one or you are this one actually. So in this case, what I'm going to do after switching, I will be fetching that particular browser title actually. So I will say await browser dot get title. After switching, I'm getting that, and I will say dot includes is a way actually to contain actually that one. Let's say that I'm saying here QAB box. If you got it, so I'll put a if condition. Understand this one. If I am getting the title as QAB box, then I will do the my testing. What is that testing? That testing should be this one actually. And this particular for and if condition, right, this is what actually it is happening here. Sorry, not here, the switch to window. Here switch window is happening. So whenever you are passing a string, this goes and compares against your browser title by this for loop. So whenever it is matching to your particular this expected your title, then it is coming out of this loop. You can just put a break statement here, and that is what all actually your switch window is doing. Let's see if this works fine or not. So I'm simply going to this for loop. I'm switching to individual windows. If it is matching the QAB box, then get inside, do some testing, and then come back. Now let's say that after for loop, I don't know again where the browser, maybe the browser is into this particular window only, but then I want to come back to my original window, right? So in that case, what I can do, await browser dot switch to window. Switch to window. What is my original window? That is nothing but the parent window, which we have captured at the beginning, if you remember that. So that is what we are doing. See here another if statement I can write. See, it's continuously going, right? So I don't want the first window to switch actually, because when I'm going into this collection, right, it even gives my first window also. So I don't want, because I was already into that window, right? So I don't want to switch it. So I can use the same parent window string. You see this? So I will say parent window not equal to window. So it means that if it is my parent window, if you are switching to parent window, or if it is matching to your parent window, then don't switch it. I don't want to loop this actually unnecessarily, because I don't want to go to my parent window. I am interested into the extra windows that it had opened, right? So in this if condition, I am making sure that don't check the first window, because anyway I am going to switch that later. So like this also you can save some time actually, and this is what one of the best practices where you can save some time by not doing any unnecessary steps actually here. So that is how you can do all these things. Let's say that your requirement is that you are opening two more windows. Let's say that the window names are, let's say it starts with a window title as advertisement. So what I can do, so this is one of the way, okay, where you want to switch to a specific window, perform certain operation, come back to the main window. Pretty simple thing. Let's say that there is another requirement. You need to make sure that your requirement says that when multiple windows are happening or opening, it should not contain your domain actually there. Let's say that some advertisements are popping up. So in that case, you need to make sure that the window titles of both of the extra windows opened, that title should contain advertisement, or let's say that their URL should not be this particular URL. So in this case, where I want to verify all the titles of my popped up windows, I cannot use this switch window method, because this switch window method where you are very sure that which particular window you want to switch over. But when I'm trying to capture all the windows, let's say that I want to capture the windows and I want to make sure that what is the total count of windows. In that case, I cannot use it. I have to use this classic approach only. For an instance, let's say that I'm copy pasting, sorry. So I'm copy pasting this one, and I will go back to here, and I'm doing a commented out this one, and let's say that I want to switch over, and I want to make sure that the windows whatever it is opening except the parent window, the title should not contain QAB box. Let's say that I want to do that. So what I can write here, so till this one it is fine. After this I will make sure that I'll delete this one actually, because this is not required. I'll put an expect statement here. Expect, await. See, the all intention of our things are to make sure that the testing or the verification. So not always you need to write the business flow. You need to write more and more expect statements. So browser dot get title, I'll say that dot, here I'll put like this, dot not to contain, let's say that QAP box. Okay, I'm doing like this. See, even this doesn't give me the QAB box also. If you, oh, okay, so there is a, you see that this is QAB box demo, this is about me is coming. So it means that these two popped up windows should not contain browser windows actually. So I will be specifying that browser windows, right? Browser windows. Let's run it and see that if it is working fine or not. And after doing this, I'm just switching back to my main window. Let's do that. Let's run this particular test. And you can see everything ran successfully. Even the expected statement also worked fine. The same thing, even you can utilize, you can run this particular code also. Okay, so like that. So these are the different ways or different situations you might come into the place whenever you are having a situation where multiple windows are open. Now based on your requirement, you can grab this knowledge and utilize it to automate your browser windows. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for the multiple browser windows. If you have any questions, please do comment or reach out to me. We'll try to handle those situations as well. Do subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't. We will be seeing some more interesting topics in our future topics. So stay tuned and thank you for watching.